your way of recognizing that this is somebody that you want to pay attention to or not. So the photo, that's really the most important. All right, so now you get the same type of things that you saw before. Is these services will say, we're a social network. It's probably a good idea that you have some friends. You can skip this step. There's a place to do that at the bottom. That's what we're going to do, because I think he went through. It's the same type of setup that you either tell them your Facebook or your Twitter or Gmail, and it will come in and suggest, here are the other people that are also using this service that we know about.
What's the advantage of that?
Well, the advantage is that when you get to your first screen, you've already got some people and some things in. So it's a different experience, as we'll see here, if you have no friends as opposed to if you do have friends.
So if you have all your Facebook friends as part of this, that when you go to Soma and you check in, they all know that?
If they're using the service.
If they're using anyone on Foursquare and in your Facebook friends circle?
Yeah, it makes that connection.
Okay.
It basically says it's looking for that Venn diagram of you're using this system, they're using this system, how many are using them both?
But they don't get a notification that you're at Soma.
They can. You can actually do that. You can, and that's controls that you have. So one of the most important things we'll see here in a moment is going to be, yeah, we don't want to pull that for there's a settings thing, and actually that settings page, if we just go through that, it tells a lot about what Facebook or what Foursquare is about. So here's also it's saying that here are free platforms for the phones. So if you go onto the site, the website through here, you can go download them. If you type in Foursquare for whatever the platform is, you're going to get their application. They're all pretty stable. They're pretty well done. So I'm just going to continue to the home page because I'm not going to install that right now. But so I've got this here. It's not really telling me anything because I haven't used it yet, and nobody on there doesn't know anybody in the system. But it does tell me this right away, that there are newly crowned mayors. And so the mayors are people who visit a particular place multiple times. And the way that they do this, it's sort of a moving window. So if today is what? It's a very long week, the 7th. The 7th, it goes back 60 days before that, and that's the window. And so tomorrow, for the 8th, it's just going to advance a day. And it only counts the number of days that you checked into that place in that window. So I can't claim a mayorship because I was there a whole bunch when nobody else was using it and retain that mayorship, forever. If you stop using the service, if you stop going to that place, it's gone.
Someone else will get the mayorship.
Right.
During the time when they're there more.
And I'm going to show you, just very quickly, you can spread the joy. It's just the same thing that you're connecting your other major services. If you're using Facebook, if you're using Twitter, you have the ability to take your Foursquare activity and publish it there as well. I would be hesitant to do that too much because if you are on Twitter and you're seeing a lot of the Foursquare stuff, you may consider that just spam. Because if you didn't opt to use the service, that may not be useful information to you. And the same thing with Facebook. There are people that do both of it. You can say, just show when I become a mayor, because that's something I do want to share. So there's different levels of controls that you have. You can expand your circle, so this is just finding your friends, and then adding a profile, because I didn't do that the first time. These are things that they're going to give you cues right from the start to make sure your profile is something that's going to be useful and attractive to other people. But I'm going to log out now, and I'm going to log in with my own stuff so we can see a different experience.
It's everywhere.
No, this is tricky.
You know your password? That's fine.
So I'm not the only one.
It's an algorithm, and I There we go.
Okay.
All right, so now it looks a little different. It still gives me this find some friends stuff, and it will give me some people that it knows because I signed in through Facebook are on that service. Of course, it tells me. So these are all people that know, but I'm going to get rid of that because I want it to be clear. It's going to tell something about me. It's going to tell me my recent friends check-in. So we saw that Bob was just here. I only know that because we connected on Foursquare. If I hadn't connected or he hadn't connected with me, I wouldn't know that. It wouldn't show up there. And it's Tom and these are other people that are in our program. Also, we still have that newly crowned service. But let us go to my profile first, which will look a little different. And these are the basic components of Facebook. We have a staff thing. So I have put my traditional photo there. Of course, here is the number of days that I've been in the system. I'm something called a super user, which just meant that I did things early on. And I have the ability to contribute to the Foursquare community by going and making corrections to venues. So the more you do this and the more you make these corrections, you can get higher and higher and actually have more and more access. In this way, it's sort of like the way Wikipedia works, in that it relies on the people that are using the service to say, you know, this is not where this location is, or there's two things here that are the same location. Let's merge those things together. We're not going to get into the super user part, but just know that it is a community that that they can sort of monitor their own use of this stuff here. The check-ins, the number 675 check-ins, so I've used this for a while. I joined it, I stopped using it, and then I started using it after Bloomington started picking up a bit with that. In fact, it was shortly after the chamber, one of the people that we know on there, started an account, a Twitter account, to try to get businesses to do more of this. There's a things to done list, so when you encounter a tip, it's sort of like making your own to-do list. And so people can suggest that you do different things. I think actually there's like a bucket list that is local to Bloomington of things you need to do. And as you encounter this stuff, you can say, I've done that, or maybe I should do that. And it's a way that you can engage with the community a little bit based on recommendations about it. I don't use that a lot. I don't make many tips, but these are things that you can do. Then I've got all my badges, and some of these are like Foursquare Day and Century Club, so I had over 100 days checked in the same place because I wasn't traveling a lot. The overshare, so and this happened during our trip to New Orleans. So there were a lot of new places. We traveled and went around a lot more than I would on a day-to-day basis in Bloomington, and so there were a lot of places to check into, and it gives you sort of a thing that just says you're doing it a lot. And these are things that everybody gets, and these badges will change. They give you different stuff. They also, if you look at See All, you can see that some of these things, they didn't have it here. There's actually a list that shows you all the different types of badges you could get, and the ones that you don't have are grayed out, so the sort of incentives to be able to do those types of things. So let's go back. It also shows the places that I've been, and this is the view that I get. This is not the view other people necessarily get. I tend to be fairly open about the things that I do online, so there's a good chance that somebody else coming and visiting my profile, they're going to see very similar stuff. But I've got settings in here, this folder, and we'll go through this for a little bit here to just show you some of the things that you can do. You can edit your profile at any time, so as your phone number changes, that can change. You've got a user ID, that's how you're known throughout the system as far as the computer is concerned. But we have things for contact information. So even if I make a friend's connection, I don't have to show them my phone number if I don't want to. I can unclick that and it won't show it. I don't have to show them my email address. I can say that really the connection I want with my friends on here is just going to be the things that I do on Foursquare. I can also say to connect with Twitter and Facebook. So in that same way we went through, I have the option to say, yes, my Facebook and Foursquare know each other. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to let all my information go out there. And I can uncheck things to share that or not share that. The privacy thing, this is worth going into a little bit more detail. This is a really important section if you're worried about your location and sharing that. So the first thing is participating in the Foursquare mayorship. So we talked about what a mayorship is. There are advantages to it. It's the bragging rights. It's that every time somebody goes in and checks in on that page, they're going to see you up at the top saying that you're a mayor. So sometimes it's a way to expand your network. There are a number of businesses, Bloomington Bagel being one of them, that will give discounts to they'll give you basically a free breakfast for once a month. Scotty's also uses this very heavily.
Big Boy.
And Big Boy.
Blue Boy.
Blue Boy, I'm sorry. Oh, well, yeah, we need to know about that. The mayors of there get some perks for that. So there is a reason to do this. But if you uncheck that box, what that means